The 2024 Texas Tech football roster is taking shape and becoming much more clear. Which seniors with an extra year of eligibility plan to return to the 806 or leave the friendly confines of Jones AT&T Stadium? We'll discuss that and more in today's video, including a massive portal target set to start his official visit to the 806 today, and five-star wide receiver Micah Hudson and four-star offensive tackle Ellis are set to play in the Under Armour All-American game. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. If you want to help the channel in the most productive way possible, simply like the video and hit that subscribe button. I went back and I looked at the numbers post-Christmas. We got a little bit better, but 40% of the people that watch the videos are subscribed. Only 40%. We can do a little bit better. Let's try and bump those numbers up to 50 and join the most engaging Texas Tech community here on YouTube by simply hitting that like button, subscribing, and turning on that notification bell to stay in the know on Texas Tech football all year long. All right, before we get into who is on campus, what the roster is going to look like a little bit more clearly, and Ellis and Micah Hudson playing in the Under Armour All-American game, interesting stat for the Red Raiders in terms of their football team. And you see it at the bottom of your screen right there. The Red Raiders are one of only 4 Power 5 teams, I guess technically Power 4 now. I don't know, however you want to interpret that. Nonetheless, the Red Raiders are one of the only 4 Power 5 teams to win 3 straight bowl games in the last 3 years. The other 3, the Minnesota Golden Gophers, then you've got the Maryland Terps, you got the Georgia Bulldogs, that's pretty good company, and then, of course, the Texas Tech Red Raiders round out that list. Not too bad a company for Texas Tech in that regard. Let's talk about who's on campus right now. I actually mentioned him in the previous portal video we had here on the channel, but his official visit officially starts today. How many times can RC fit the word official or officially into a sentence? Apparently 6. Anyway, Arkansas defensive tackle transfer Anthony Tank Booker is set to start his official visit today in the 806. 6'4", 351 pounds, has 1 year of eligibility left. We'll actually talk about a guy coming back at the D tackle spot for Texas Tech here in just a second. But this is a guy that has played a ton of football. He started his career at Maryland, played 4 years there, played 1 year for Sam Pittman up in Fayetteville for the Razorbacks, back in the portal, and he has a chance to potentially land out in the 806 and play a potentially sizable role, no pun intended, on the Texas Tech defensive line. Over the last 2 seasons, he's had 46 tackles, 2.5 sacks, and has forced 2 fumbles. He is one of those guys that is a true run stuffer. I'll list his measurables again. 6'4", 351 pounds. There's not very many human beings on earth that are that size, and you could potentially land one and put one squarely right in the middle of a Tim DeRuyter defense that has proven if you have 2 guys that take up space at a high level on the interior of that defensive line, he knows how to get to the passer, and he's a guy that could potentially do that. So he plans to start his visit today, January 3rd, at the time this video is released. Now, it is interesting from the standpoint of this is really the main focal point in the portal for the Red Raiders. Joey McGuire has said as much. Now, don't get it twisted. He likes the guys on the roster, including Cofield, McAlpine, and some other young guys, but you can never have too much experience depth at the defensive tackle spot if you're Texas Tech or really any program in the country. So Booker would be a really solid upgrade to what they currently have there from an experience factor and really just a college productivity standpoint in the sense of he's actually played a lot of college football where Texas Tech doesn't have much production in terms of strictly defensive tackles coming back next season. All right, now I mentioned that the roster is looking a little bit more clear. And what I mean by that is this. Over the Christmas holiday, there was a lot of news in terms of who's coming back. Obviously, Taj Brooks was the main focal point in that regard, but there are some other guys set to return and use that extra year of COVID eligibility. Who are they? Well, let's jump right into it as we've got them all listed down at the bottom of your screen right here. There were 11 guys, 8 are returning, 3 are leaving, which means none are pending. The ones coming back, running back, Taj Brooks, just mentioned that. You got kicker, Gino Garcia. Defensive tackle, Quincy Ledet Jr. You've got Steve Linton coming back. Braylon Lux, probably your starting boundary corner next year on either side alongside Baylor transfer A.J. McCarty. Then you've got linebacker Bryce Ramirez, a fan favorite, he's coming back. Caleb Rogers mentioned he was coming back as well. He will probably shift inward. I know it says offensive tackle down there. Not sure exactly where he fits on the offensive line right now, but if I had to guess, I think Caleb Rogers is probably your starting center for Texas Tech in 2024. And then you've got cornerback safety Cam Watts, a guy that really has played a pivotal role on special teams in a lot of regards and provides solid experience depth in the secondary. That means 3 guys are leaving. Loic obviously found his home. If you didn't catch that news, he will head to the SEC and play in Nashville at Vanderbilt. Then you've got Josiah Pierre, previously in the SEC before he came to the 806. He is now in the portal as well. And then linebacker Bryce Robinson, will not return. Now, there's also some fun stuff to talk about in terms of Texas Tech football. You got Micah Hudson and Ellis Davis set to participate in the Under Armour All-American game on Wednesday, January 3rd at 3 p.m. That will take place on ESPN. Obviously, Micah Hudson, if you look at the recruiting services, is the number 1 player in the state of Texas, according to some. And some have him as high as number 6 in the country in terms of overall prospects in the class of 2024. 5-star guy, first 5-star wide receiver in Texas Tech program history, as you know. And then there is 4-star offensive tackle Ellis Davis. He will also play in the Under Armour All-American game. And he has a chance, I think, to play early on in his Tech career. Maybe not as a true freshman, since he will be showing up to campus later. He is not part of the early enrollees for the Red Raiders. He will actually start his college career in the summertime, where Micah Hudson will actually be on Tech's campus here in the next couple of weeks, few days, just because, well, you've got spring semester starting here in, I believe it's 11 days at the time of this recording, but could be wrong on that front. But anyway, Texas Tech, 2 representatives in the Under Armour All-American game. The roster is starting to really solidify itself. If you ask me, we'll transition back to Booker real quick. This is the guy that I think Tech really wants to add and hyper focus on so they can really move into kind of the quote-unquote off season of things. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't be active in the portal anymore at all if the right guy happens to enter it, because you got to remember, Texas Tech will likely lose a couple of guys after spring camp. So there's going to be a portal wave after that as well. So you're going to see some guys potentially move there, but this is a guy that Texas Tech is heavily interested in Anthony Tank Booker. He starts his official visit today out in the 806 and is a guy that they've hyper-focused on in the portal. They've gone after other couple guys. One of the guys was from New Mexico State. He ended up at Syracuse, but now you got a guy on campus, and once you get a guy out to the 806, regardless of really the program for Texas Tech, the Red Raiders have a very solid chance of actually landing said recruit, and Anthony Booker is the latest one. Tank. Get him on this team so we have a nickname with Tank and Payday. Would be phenomenal for content purposes. And then one more time before we head out of here, I want to make sure everybody caught the names of the guys that have an extra year due to COVID that are set to return and that are leaving Texas Tech. You can see them at the bottom of the screen. I'll read through them one more time. Staying, there are 8 guys. Running back Taj Brooks, kicker Gino Garcia, defensive tackle Quincy Ledet. You got defensive end Steve Linton, Braylon Lux, a guy that's probably going to start on the boundary corner for you. Then you got fan favorite Bryce Ramirez coming back, offensive tackle Caleb Rogers. He'll shift inward, likely play center for you. And then you've got corner/safety Cam Watt set to return, while the 3 leaving the program are Loic. He will head out to Nashville, play for the Commodores of Vanderbilt. Then you've got Josiah Pierre, a linebacker, leaving, as well as another linebacker in Bryce Robinson, who is set not to return to the 806 next year. I'm RC Maxfield, reminding you one more time, if you want to help the channel, the video, do the best it possibly can, and you enjoy the 100% free content that we're giving you daily surrounding Texas Tech athletics, you know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell to join the most engaging Texas Tech community here on YouTube in the Back to 12 podcast channel.